on Treaty 6 land and the home of the Métis. With that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
The agenda for this meeting be approved as presented.
Thank you. Seconder?
I'll second that.
Go ahead. Thank you. Okay, I'll prompt the vote. The vote is open. Oh, sorry, Councillor Zepp, are you online?
I am, and I vote yes.
Thank you. Sorry for acknowledging you. Not acknowledging, sorry.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, it's carried, and I've accepted it. Uh-oh. Pretty close. Oh, that's it. Yep. Okay, thank you very much. So, declaration of conflict of interest, you all know what that is. You have to declare it. Reports of Administration Committee. First report is 5.1, construction, supply, and install concrete. Councillor Cody.
I move that the concrete supply and installation expression of interest be approved with Wheatland Builders and Concrete Limited, a wholly owned and operated division of B&B Construction Group, Inc., for a 1-year negotiated contract with the option of 3 additional years. And that administration be authorized to negotiate the 2021 concrete price schedule with Wheatland Builders and Concrete Limited, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute the contract and any other documentation on behalf of the city once prepared.
Thank you. Seconder. Councillor Edwards.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Gilmore. Discussion? Councillor Miller.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Dion. I have one question for both of these items. So I'm just wondering why we went to the expression of interest instead of an RFP or tender.
Okay, we'll have that. Yep, ask Wes, please. Light, please, Charlene.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. What was this? Hello, Wes, are you online? No.
Yes.
Oh, are you alive, Wes?
Yes,
Oh, there you are.
I didn't know the question was directed to me.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you heard what the question was?
Yes. So because of our historical relationships when it came to asphalt and concrete, we have been able to receive through our negotiation lower than marketplace pricing. And the question that was asked, I believe, last week was, how does this compare with the other cities? And our research comparing to Saskatoon, Regina, and Moose Jaw found that we're receiving pricing for asphalt and concrete lower than the other 3 cities. So to maintain those kind of numbers, we've gone with the format that we've done, so that those individual bidders, contractors, whoever they may be, their individual pricing is protected from the public so that they can offer us a rate that's not available to all public customers. I hope that makes sense.
It does? Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing no one lighting up, I'm prompting the vote. The vote is open. Councillor Zepp,
Yes.
thank you. The vote is closed. It carries. I'm accepting the vote. Thank you. So I'm moving to item 5.2, asphalt supply and paving. What's your wish, Council? Councillor Edwards?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the recommendation and that the asphalt supply and paving expression of interest be approved with B&B Construction Group Incorporated for a 1-year negotiated contract with the option of 3 additional years. 2, that the administration be authorized to negotiate the 2021 asphalt and paving price schedule with B&B Construction Group Incorporated. 3, that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute the contract and any other documentation on behalf of the city once prepared.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Cody?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, I'm prompting the vote. The vote is open. Oh, Councillor Zepp?
Yes.
Thank you. Passed unanimously. I'm closing the vote. Accepting the vote. Okay. Then we go to 5.3, allowance for basketball hoops within the right-of-way of the city limits. Now, the reason we put this on the agenda, because this is going to be a political discussion, strictly because you'll see the 2 options that we have now. And what sort of started this is we had one resident complained about the neighbor's hoop being on it. And so, of course, by law, under the rules, asked them to remove it. And then that person went around and just in his neighborhood found 12 more on the street. And then asked us, okay, are we going to remove them all? Or are we going to have a discussion on what we do with these basketball hoops? So that's sort of how it got on the agenda, because they're all over our city, just so you know, they're just not in one area. And actually, I did find the perfect one on Marquis West. I sent everyone a picture. That road's closed off with a barricade, and they've dragged a hoop and put it down there. And it's all kind of paved, waiting for us to expand the street. So that was a kind of a neat area. But I also do have them in my neighborhood. And before I open it to the floor, and I did talk to one of my neighbors and asked them, why are they not removing it at night? Because I didn't know. And he said, well, if you look, they're very small wheels on them. And usually people fill them with water to hold them from blowing over. And so they're very top heavy. They're hard to move. The kids can't move them. Because my recommendation that was going to be that we allow them, but they have to be removed at night, off the street. And so I'm just going to open the floor for discussion and comment and see where we want to go with this item. Nobody wants to jump in. Councillor Edwards?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. This is definitely, this is there. The basketball nets are on the road, and I like it. Personally, I like to see them. It brings me back to the day of the old road hockey days where kids got out onto the street and played. Mm-hmm. And it makes me excited to see kids playing on the street again but I understand a little bit of it, and it's traffic. And I'm in favor of letting them leave these on the road. My only concern would be certainly on busy streets, and I don't know how we narrow that down. But I think it's great that they're able to keep these here. I really do. I'm just looking at the motion. I do have some questions based on our direction. It says allow the encroachment. So we're going to allow the hoops to stay because we're saying they should be allowed to stay. That's what the motion is simply.
Right.
Okay, and do they have to apply for a permit? No permit necessary. Okay. So are we deciphering on a busy road, or we're just gonna let them go and provide the residents a warning to say, hey, listen, it's at your own risk, basically? Is that what we plan to do? Because I'm good with that too.
Okay, the one that was up on the screen says yes. I think I'm going to ask the director to come online, strictly because you said something. Like, all the ones I've seen is on the neighborhood, so I agree with you. I'd be worried if they were on a main artillery road, you know, that's 50 kilometers an hour. But I don't know if we've had any there. So, to the director, have you been hearing our conversation?
I have, yes. And thank you, Mayor, for allowing us as a bylaw enforcement team to get in front of this issue before what I'll call the busy season. I have absolutely been hearing the discussion, all good concerns, certainly. I did come up with a potential option that council may choose to approve this evening, anticipating that you would either want to approve or deny this request. I don't have it in front of me. I can't see your screen, but it does read along the lines of council approving basketball hoops as per section 43, I think it's A2 of the traffic bylaw. But you'll see that there's a condition there that both myself and or the director of public works have to be satisfied that it doesn't impede traffic, neighborhood safety and things like that. So the example of playing on a street that's too busy, you know, people blocking off storm sewers with the basketball hoops, you know, cones being put up for street sweeping, those types of things, it would allow myself to step in and say, look, you need to adjust the basketball hoop or move it or something like that. And that is what this motion would allow us to do. And the other issue that's come up is certainly safety. These basketball hoops do not have reflective material on them, so they are difficult to see. So we certainly wouldn't want vehicle parking to run into one or to fall over on a pedestrian or something like that. So if that type of a scenario were to arise, it would also give me the authority to request them to, you know, put some reflective tape on them or something like that. I hope that answers your question.
I think it does. So then you guys would monitor it. So if somebody set a hoop up on a cul-de-sac, you would just leave it. But if someone set it up on Marquis Road, you know, where it's a main thoroughfare, you'd have them remove it.
Exactly. Yeah. We'd review them on a case-by-case basis and allow them if it can be done so in a safe manner. But I do suspect we will have to deny some of them based on public safety. And I know our public works director and I had a brief talk about this, and I believe we've got a few scenarios that we would have to step in. But generally speaking, if council supports them, that does help us out.
Okay, Councillor Edwards?
Yeah, thanks, Director. I know that there's one particular in my head right now, and it's one that was being complained about, where last year I came to bylaw and, well, yourself, and we kind of said, you know what, the season's almost over. Can we let them leave it there? And as a matter of fact, the request was, let's get them to move it over onto the side street into a certain spot, and that's what they did, and that's where they put it back this year. And I think you know the example I'm talking about. That type of scenario where that basketball sits, it's a little ways away from a corner on both ends. So there's one, there's a turn from the right that would be about 50 yards to the net, and then there's a turn again, left or right, off Barton, I'll say that road, where it's another probably 50 feet, 50 meters, no, I don't know how far it is, 25 meters roughly. So that particular one, I mean, it's 40, it's on a wide street. Are we looking at, that would be good to go?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Councillor. Edwards, I wouldn't be giving a definitive yes or no to that question. However, you're exactly right. Those are the types of things that we would look at in allowing them, moving them away from busy corners, off of busy streets, things like that.
Yeah, okay. I'd move the recommendation if
Okay.
that's up.
And that's option 1, to leave it the way it is and let the director police it.
The first one.
Yes. Yeah, does not intrude safety. Okay,
Yeah,
okay?
okay, I'll read that out then.
Okay.
That basketball hoops be allowed as per section 43A of the traffic bylaw with the following conditions. One, that the Director of Public Works and/or Planning and Development Services be satisfied that the encroachment will not unduly interfere with traffic or endanger public safety.
Thank you. Oop, pardon me? Leave me alone. Councillor Head,
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the motion, and I'll make a comment as well.
so you'll second it?
I'll
Councillor
second it,
Edwards,
yeah.
thank you. And you're alive, go ahead.
Okay.
And you can stay seated. Oh, no, this is council, sorry.
Yeah. I just thought I had it down, So. But I want to say, absolutely, let our children play basketball. And I haven't heard any comments from my constituents, but it doesn't mean it's not an issue in the community, and that's why we see it here today. So, like my colleague says, it's like the old days where you're yelling car and you're moving. And I get it; it's not that easy, and as long as we can do it safely and we don't hurt the residents, and we're not endangering our children. And I like the idea of having it a case by case basis, and I trust the director will be assessing that as he goes on, not unreasonably, of course, but definitely will be on top of that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I see no other discussion, so I'll prompt the vote. The vote is open. Councillor Zepp,
Yes.
passed unanimously. I'll accept the vote. Okay, we have no unfinished business. Councillor Kilmer. Seconded. Councillor Head. Thank you. I'll prompt the vote. The vote is open. Councillor Zepp.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Passed unanimously.